yourself and you don't want to say anything, I'm okay with that. Hey, to tell the truth. Remember that? I remember that. I was only 2, but I remember it. Because I don't want to date myself. Remember the line at the very end of the show? It says, will the real so-and-so please stand up? This is sort of where I'm at in this whole thing. You know, I'm pressed to ask the question, will the real Yeshua please stand up? Now, I want you to think about this. For a few years, while he was in his ministry on earth, Yeshua had a following of people. Real, live, living, breathing, eating people who followed him around. They went places with him. They ate with him. They learned from him. They talked with him. They did everything with him. So they knew him. But was that the real Yeshua? Or was the real Yeshua the one that Peter and John and James saw on the mountaintop? Will the real Yeshua please stand up? Now, the only way that Anakin Skywalker could have been able to walk around and do the things that he did is if he wore that suit and the mask. Is it possible that the only way that Yeshua could have walked around and done the things that he did on the earth was if he wore the suit? What suit am I talking about? I'm talking about his earth suit. The suit of humanity. I think that might actually be possible. Who was it that the disciples were seeing when they saw Yeshua? Was it the suit? Or was it the glory? Now, here's that trick question phase. It's not either or. Could it be possible that they recognized that exactly what they were seeing was the glory in a suit? When Moses was up on Mount Horeb, when he was talking with God, remember that? It was right before he got sent, he got commissioned to go back into Egypt. He's up on the mountain, he's talking to God. You've got that picture, right, in your head? What's the picture? What do you see? What did Moses see? A burning bush, okay? Is that God? Just think about it. Did Moses see God? He saw a bush that was on fire that wasn't consumed. He heard God. And so it is possible to say, perhaps, that Moses saw God in the burning bush. The point is that we can all see God and rightfully claim that we have seen God when we see those things that manifest his character, his qualities. Okay? Now, if you want to start jumping in a little bit ahead, you can. We can all claim to see God when we see those things that manifest his quality and his character. Now let's go to our Torah portion. Moses, Aaron, and the elders go up the mountain. We can now ask, what did they see? What did they see? Exodus chapter 24, verse 10 reads this in the Hebrew. It says, Vayiru et Elohei Yisrael, v'tachat raglav k'ma'aseh livnat hasapir. And they saw the God of Israel. Vayiru et Elohei Yisrael. And they saw the God of Israel. V'tachat raglav, and underneath his feet, and that, by the way, is the only way that can be translated. V'tachat raglav, and underneath his feet. Okay? Like the work of building with the sapphire. Some places use paving or construction. Banam is Hebrew, means to build. It's like the building with the sapphire. So whatever they saw, he had feet. Think about that. Whatever they saw had feet. In verse 11, Exodus 24, verse 11, it says this, Lo shalach yado. And he did not send out his hand. Okay? Well, you can mess around with the word shalach, to send forth or lay out or stretch forth. You can mess around with that, but you can't mess around with yado. It means his hand. So whatever it was that Moses and Aaron and the elders saw on that mountain had feet and hands. Who did they see? They saw Jesus. They saw Yeshua. And it's interesting because of the fact that we can clearly say now they saw Yeshua. The scripture says that they saw Elohei Yisrael. They saw the God of Israel, which means that Yeshua is, in fact, the God of Israel. How is it then that they saw God and did not die? They saw and did not die because it wasn't the fullness of his glory. They saw and did not die because he appeared in a form that could be seen. That's Yeshua. They saw and did not die because at some level they recognized as God that form in which he appeared, though it was not the full glory from heaven. Yeshua gives us the clearest picture of this, and we see it in Matthew chapter 17 in this concept of the Transfiguration. Yeshua was fully God. Fully God. He embodied every characteristic of God that we read about in the Torah, in the Tanakh. The entire thing. The Old Testament is God's revelation of his character. It's a revelation of his character. Not just what he did, not just what he wants us to do, but who he is. His very nature. And Yeshua is the absolute perfect manifestation of that character, embodied in the flesh. And yet he was also the fully divine second person of the Godhead. That was who appeared on Hermon. He goes up to the mountain, and in an instant, he is transfigured into the perfect second person deity, God manifest on earth. That's who Peter and John and James saw, the second person of the Godhead. And yet, however, even in his transfiguration, Yeshua still appeared as Yeshua. If it wasn't that way, I believe that John and James and Peter would have died, because you can't see the full glory of God and live. But when you look at what the scripture says about the transfiguration on that mountaintop, the change of appearance, it was still Yeshua. It was Yeshua, but his face shone like the sun. But it was still Yeshua's face. He was wearing garments, but they were glowing. They were radiant, but it was still Yeshua's garments. There are other places where it does refer to Yeshua in a more spiritualized aspect. It says that he is, he's referred to as a light, when, especially in Revelation, when they see the light in the throne, or the rainbow sitting actually on the throne and over the throne. That's a representation of Yeshua as Spirit. Here on Mount Hermon in Matthew 17, it's still Yeshua HaMashiach. Fully man, fully divine. You're just seeing his fully divine nature as opposed to his fully human nature. This brings me to the point that what we see with our eyes and what we perceive with our mind aren't always the same.